Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. As you settle into this moment, perhaps in a quiet corner of your world, let your attention soften. Let the sounds around you simply be sounds. Let the weight of your body be fully supported by the chair, the floor, the earth. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. Here, in this sanctuary of words and silence, we begin a gentle journey. Not around your heartbreak, but directly into its tender center, holding the lantern of awareness with a steady hand. When we speak of a broken heart from the perspective of Buddhism, we are not speaking of a flaw or a failure. We are speaking of a profound encounter with one of the deepest truths of existence, the truth of change, of impermanence, of anicca. The heart breaks when something we believed was permanent reveals its fleeting nature. It is not a sign that you loved wrongly. It is often a sign that you loved with the hope of forever, which is a very human hope. The Buddha's wisdom does not scold us for this hope. Instead, it offers a compassionate map to navigate the terrain when that forever dissolves into the reality of for now. Let me share a story with you, an original tale from the annals of Monk's Moon Temple. There was a devoted keeper of a coastal lighthouse, a solitary stone tower on a cliff where the sea met the sky. His entire life was the great, revolving lantern at the top. He polished its lenses with meticulous care, trimmed its wick, and ensured its oil was pure. He believed his identity was inseparable from the beam of light that cut through the night, guiding sailors home. One winter, a tempest of unprecedented fury struck. Wave after wave crashed against the cliff. The tower shook. And in the violent core of the storm, a stray piece of debris, flung by the wind like a spiteful hand, struck the lantern room. The precious Fresnel lens, a masterpiece of crystal and brass, shattered into 1,000 irreparable pieces. The keeper was shattered with it. In the days that followed, he sat amidst the glittering shards, paralyzed by grief. He saw only the destruction, the end of his purpose. The lighthouse was dark. He believed he was dark. One afternoon, an old monk, traveling the coastal path, sought shelter from a drizzle. He found the keeper among the ruins of glass. The monk did not speak of the loss. He simply sat, built a small fire in the hearth, and began to brew tea. After a long silence, the monk pointed not to the broken lens, but to the iron lampstand at the center of the room. "The wick is still there," the monk observed softly. "The oil is still in the reservoir. The fire can still be lit." The keeper, his voice thick with sorrow, replied, "But the lens is gone. The light will scatter. It will be useless." The monk smiled gently. "For guiding ships at sea, yes, the focused beam is gone. But for a moment, let us light it as it is." Together, they lit the wick. Without its lens, the flame burned not as a piercing beam, but as a warm, radiant, undirected glow. It filled the round lantern room with a soft, golden light, illuminating the stone walls, the fallen glass sparkling like stars on the floor, their two faces. "You see," the monk said, "you have been the keeper of the flame, not the keeper of the glass. The glass had a specific function, a temporary form. The flame is the essence. Your duty now is not to mourn the form, but to tend the essence. This light may not guide ships tonight, but it can warm two travelers. It can illuminate this room. It still holds the nature of light." The keeper looked from the soft, omnipresent glow to the sharp, scattered shards. A profound shift occurred within him. His attachment had been to the instrument, the specific utility and identity the lens provided. The source of light, the quiet, unwavering potential for illumination, had never been damaged. His heart began its healing not when he found new glass, but when he recognized that the flame had never gone out. If this story illuminates something within you, if it helps you distinguish for a moment between the shattered form and the enduring source, I warmly invite you to subscribe to Monk's Moon Temple. Your subscription is like adding oil to this shared lantern. It allows this gentle light to reach further into the night for those who are seeking their way. Now, let us continue. This is the first and perhaps most crucial Buddhist insight for a heart in pain. To separate the essence of your love from the form of the relationship. The love, the caring, the capacity for connection, that is your inner flame. It is part of your fundamental Buddha nature, your innate capacity for karuna, compassion, and metta, loving-kindness. The relationship, with its specific person, routines, dreams, and future plans, that was the beautiful, intricate lens. It shaped and directed your love in a particular way, gave it a focus. Now that lens has broken. The pain is real and searing because you are surrounded by the sharp pieces of what was. But I invite you, in a quiet moment, to gently place your attention not on the shards, but on the center of your being. Ask yourself, is my capacity to care gone? Is my ability to feel warmth truly extinguished? You will find, as the keeper did, that the flame still burns. It may feel small, guttering in the wind of your grief, but it is there. Our entire healing journey is about turning from the heartbreaking work of gluing shattered glass back together, a futile and painful task, and turning toward the nurturing and protection of that inner flame. We learn to let it burn freely again, not necessarily in the same direction, but with its own radiant, undirected warmth. This turning requires immense courage. It feels like a betrayal of the past to not stare only at the wreckage. But in Buddhism, this is the practice of viveka. Discernment. It is not a cold analysis, it is a compassionate sorting. We discern between what is permanent and what is temporary in our experience. The love, the pure, intention to happiness for another, has a quality that can continue, that can transform. The attachment, the clinging, the identifying, the demanding that reality conform to our wishes, is what causes the suffering when reality changes. The flame is love. The lens is attachment. Your heartbreak is the shattering of the lens. Your healing is the gentle turning toward the flame. So tonight, as we end this first part of our journey, I offer you a simple practice. Before you sleep, in the darkness of your room, imagine for just 1 minute that your heart is not a broken thing, but a small, steady flame sheltered in the center of your chest. See the shattered glass of your loss around it, but do not focus there. Simply watch the flame. Notice it does not flicker with your thoughts of the past or future. It burns in the eternal present. Breathe softly, and imagine your breath gently feeding this flame. You are not fixing anything. You are simply remembering what you are at your core, a being of light and warmth. Hold this image as you drift to sleep. You are the keeper of an unextinguished flame. Let us take a deep, nourishing breath in. And a slow, releasing breath out. In our last moment together, we imagined the inner flame. The essential light of your caring nature that remains even when the forms of relationship change. Tonight, we will explore another facet of the heart, one that often feels tarnished and clouded by grief, its reflective nature. The mind after heartbreak is often a storm of reflection, but it reflects only one thing, the loss. It replays memories, projects fears, and creates a distorted funhouse mirror where every glance shows a fractured self. Buddhism introduces us to a different kind of mirror. In the Zen tradition, there is a concept of the mind being like a perfect mirror, clear, still, and impartially reflecting whatever appears before it. A happy face. The mirror reflects a happy face. A sad face. It reflects a sad face. The mirror does not cling to the happy face and cry when it leaves. It does not stain itself with the image of the sad face. It simply reflects, and when the object moves away, the mirror returns to its innate clarity, ready to reflect the next thing perfectly. Your heart has this same capacity. Its true, fundamental nature is not the broken record of loss, but this clear, still mirror. The pain you feel is not the mirror breaking, it is the intense, single image of your loss being held so close to the glass that it seems fused there. Our practice is to gently, slowly, create space between the mirror and that painful image. We learn to let the image be reflected without becoming the image itself. Let me share an original story. In a mountain temple, there was a prized, ancient bronze mirror, said to show the true nature of whoever gazed into it. A young woman, ravaged by grief after her betrothed died in a landslide, came to the temple. She stood before the mirror, desperate to see some sign of him, or to see if her grief had erased her own soul. All she saw was her own tear-streaked, anguished face. "The mirror is broken," she cried to the old abbot. "It only shows my pain." The abbot nodded. "Come," he said. He led her to a still, deep pond in the temple garden. "Look here." She saw the same reflection, her own sorrowful face against the sky. "Now," the abbot said softly, "watch the water itself, not the reflection." He dropped a tiny pebble near the edge. The woman watched as the ripples moved outward, distorting her reflection into wavering lines, then gradually subsiding. Her face returned, but the water was now the center of her attention. "The reflection is what appears," the abbot said. "The water is what receives it. Your heart is the water. Grief is the powerful, still image on its surface. But you are not the image. You are the water. And like water, you have the capacity to be moved, to ripple with feeling, and then to return to stillness, ready to receive the next reflection, be it of a cloud, a bird, or in time, another face." The woman visited the pond every day. Some days she cried, and her tears fell into the pond, becoming one with the water that was her own nature. Some days she sat in silence, watching a leaf float by. Slowly, the monolithic reflection of her grief began to share space with other reflections. The green of the trees, the blue of the sky, the kindness in the eyes of the nuns who brought her tea. She was not forgetting her love. She was remembering that she was the vast, receptive water, not the single, frozen reflection. This is the practice of mindfulness, or sati. It is not about emptying the mind. It is about changing our relationship to its contents. When a wave of grief, anger, or longing arises, we practice, this is grief. It is here. We note it, as we would note a dark cloud passing over the surface of our pond. We feel its texture, its weight. But we also, crucially, maintain awareness of the pond itself, the feeling of our body sitting, the sound of our breath, the space around the feeling. We do this not to push the cloud away, but to see that it is in the sky, not that it is the sky. This simple, repeated act of conscious recognition is the beginning of freedom. It creates a tiny, vital gap between the pain and the one who is aware of the pain. In that gap, healing breathes. Now, we must address a common fortress built around the broken heart, the story of me. The mind, in its attempt to make sense of pain, weaves a solid, sticky narrative. I am the one who was left. I am the person who is unlovable. I am forever damaged. Buddhism's teaching on anatta, or non-self, is profoundly liberating here. It is not saying you don't exist. It is revealing that what you call me is not a fixed, solid, singular thing. It is a flowing, dynamic process, a collection of changing physical sensations, fleeting emotions, cascading thoughts, and memories that rise and fall. The broken-hearted me is a story, a temporary constellation of some of these elements. But are you only that? When you taste a cool drink of water on a hot day, where is the broken-hearted me in that pure sensation? When you are so absorbed in a task that you forget yourself for a moment, where has that story gone? It dissolves because it was never your totality. I will share a personal recollection. In my first year at the monastery, I was assigned to help paint a long, high wall. The work was simple, repetitive, and physically tiring. I had come to the monastery carrying a heavy story of a personal failure, an I am a failure narrative. As I painted, stroke after stroke, my mind would chant its old, sad story. But the painting demanded my eyes to focus on the line between painted and unpainted wall, my arm to move in a steady rhythm. After hours, my mind grew quiet. There was only the brush, the wall, the smell of paint, the ache in my shoulder. The failure story was gone. It hadn't been solved or argued with, it had simply been crowded out by direct, sensory experience. In the tired, paint-splattered silence afterwards, I realized the story was a tenant in the house of my mind, not the house itself. I could choose, through mindful activity, which tenants got the most attention. Your heartbreak story is a loud, demanding tenant. It will shout. The practice is not to evict it by force, that only gives it power. The practice is to consciously invite other, quieter tenants into the house. The tenant who feels the sun on their skin, the tenant who listens to music, the tenant who is curious about a new idea, the tenant who feels compassion for a struggling animal. As you give attention to these other experiences, the house of your being becomes larger. The heartbreak story remains, but it no longer owns every room. You rediscover your own vastness. Let's end this part with a brief practice of anatta, of loosening the story. Sit comfortably. Bring to mind the phrase, my heartbreak. Feel the weight it carries. Now, silently ask, what is actually here, right now, without the story? Feel the physical sensations. A tightness in the chest. A hollow feeling. Name them just as sensations, pressure, aching, coolness. Now, listen. What sounds are here? Just label them, humming, traffic, breath. Look softly. What do you see? Light, shadow, color. For these few moments, let there be just this constellation of ever-changing sensations, sounds, and sights, with no central manager called the broken me organizing them into a tragedy. Rest in this alive, mysterious, and impersonal flow of experience. This is a taste of freedom from the story. Your heart, in its deepest nature, is this aware, open space where life happens, not the frozen snapshot of a single, painful event. You are not a broken mirror. You are the clear, still water that can hold any reflection without becoming it. Let us settle once more into the sanctuary of this shared attention. In our last meeting, we explored the heart as clear water, capable of reflecting pain without becoming the pain itself. Tonight, we venture into a deeper, more ancient wisdom, the understanding that what feels like an ending is also, irrevocably, a part of a cycle. To do this, we will walk into a forest after a fire. In the immediate wake of a heartbreak, the landscape of our life can feel like a scorched earth. Everything that was vibrant, green, and full of promise appears blackened, lifeless, and gone. We stand in the ashes and believe the forest itself is dead. We cannot imagine green shoots, new growth, or the return of birdsong. This is the blinding power of grief. Yet, ecology and Buddhism whisper the same profound secret: the forest knows the fire. It is not a stranger to it. In fact, many ecosystems depend on periodic fires to clear the dense undergrowth, to release seeds from stubborn cones, and to return nutrients to the soil. The fire is a destructive force, yes, but it is also a ruthless agent of renewal. Your heart is such an ecosystem. The love you cultivated, over time, may have created its own dense undergrowth, patterns of dependency, assumptions of permanence, tangled vines of shared identity. The heartbreak is the fire. It is searingly painful because it burns away what was familiar and loved. But within that very burning lies a potential you cannot yet see, the clearing of space for light to reach a forest floor it hasn't touched in years, the release of seeds for a kind of growth you couldn't have planned, and the creation of a rich, fertile ash from which a more resilient version of yourself can root. Let me tell you an original story. There was a master woodworker who specialized in crafting instruments from reclaimed wood, wood from old barns, sunken boats, fallen trees. His most sought-after pieces were made from yakusuji, a Japanese technique of charring wood to preserve it. A client once asked him, horrified, "You take beautiful wood and you burn it? On purpose?" The woodworker nodded calmly. He showed the client a fresh, beautiful cedar plank. Then, he held it carefully over a flame, charring its surface until it was uniformly black and crackled. The client saw only ruin. Then, the woodworker took wire brushes and water, and began to scrub. As the soot washed away, an extraordinary grain emerged, deeper, more textured, with a silvery, sculptural quality that the raw wood never possessed. The fire, the woodworker explained, does not destroy the wood. It reveals its hidden strength and beauty. It burns away the soft, superficial fibers and leaves behind the hardest, most resilient heartwood. And it makes it immune to rot and insects for 100 years. I am not a destroyer. I am a collaborator with fire, asking it to reveal the wood's true, enduring character. He then picked up a finished guitar, its body made from such charred and brushed cedar. He played a single chord. The sound that filled the workshop was not just rich. It had a depth, a complexity, a warmth that seemed to hold the memory of the flame within its resonance. The fire, he said softly, is now part of its song. Your heartbreak is your yakusuji. It feels like a cruel, consuming fire. But the teachings of Buddhism suggest that within this process, if we can meet it with a craftsman's awareness rather than only a victim's terror, something can be revealed, the deepest grain of your own character. What soft, dependent fibers are being burned away? What resilient heartwood of your own strength, patience, and compassion is being exposed? And in time, How might this experience become part of the unique, resonant song of your life, a depth you could not have achieved without the transformative fire? This perspective is rooted in the principle of pratyaya samutpada, dependent origination. It teaches that everything arises and passes away based on a vast, interconnected web of conditions. Your relationship arose due to conditions, meeting, attraction, shared moments. It has now changed or ended due to conditions, shifting feelings, circumstances, perhaps even death. This is not a moral failing, it is the natural, if painful, operation of cause and effect. The fire in the forest depends on dry wood, wind, and a spark. To rage only at the fire is to misunderstand the forest. Our work is to understand the conditions that led to our suffering, not to blame the inevitable change itself. Often, the primary condition we find is our own attachment, our resistance to the natural law of change. Seeing this is not self-blame, it is empowerment. It means the key to reducing future suffering lies not in controlling the uncontrollable world, but in transforming our relationship to it, in learning to hold things with an open palm. I will share a personal anecdote from the monastery gardens. We had a magnificent old wisteria vine that bloomed profusely every spring. One year, a late frost turned its tender purple blossoms to brown mush. I was tasked with the sad job of deadheading, cutting away all the ruined blooms. As I snipped, I grumbled internally about the loss of beauty. The head gardener, an elderly woman with soil under her nails, watched me. "You are not cutting away the flowers," she said. "You are making space for the wood to grow stronger. The vine wants to make seeds from those dead flowers. If you let it, it will spend all its energy on the past, on the dead thing. Your job is to convince it to invest in the future, in stronger branches for next year's blooms." She placed her hand on the thick, gnarled trunk of the wisteria. "This knows frost. This knows fire. This knows drought. It does not die. It uses the difficulty to grow more determined. You are helping it remember its own nature." That day, I stopped being a mourner of dead flowers and became a collaborator with the vine's resilience. Heartbreak asks us to do the same painful, necessary deadheading. We must gently cut away the spent blooms of what could have been, and, if only, not to deny they were beautiful, but to redirect our life's energy from feeding the past to strengthening the core of who we are for the future. It is an act of fierce kindness. So, tonight, if the landscape of your heart feels charred and lifeless, I invite you to try this visualization. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself standing in that scorched forest. Smell the ash. Feel the crunch underfoot. Now, kneel down. Look very closely at the base of a blackened tree. Use the eyes of your imagination to search for one single, green shoot pushing up through the ash. It may be tiny, fragile, but insistently green. This shoot is not your new love or a new distraction. It is something more fundamental, your innate will to understand, your quiet curiosity about how to live with this pain, your simple act of listening to these words right now. That tiny shoot is your resilience. Your job is not to rebuild the old forest today. Your job is simply to notice that shoot. To acknowledge, even here, life persists. Water it with one conscious breath. Protect it by turning away from thoughts that say, nothing will ever grow here again. The forest knows fire. And your heart, in its deepest nature, knows how to grow through ashes. You are not the ashes. You are the life that knows how to use ashes as fertilizer. Let us take a moment to arrive fully here. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your breath, an anchor in the ocean of your experience. In our last session, we sat in the ashes of the forest fire, learning to trust in the cycle of renewal. Tonight, we journey inward, to the very core of what you are, before the story of loss, before the identity of the one who grieves. We are going in search of the uncarved block. In Taoist and Zen philosophy, there is a concept of Pu, the uncarved block. It represents the original, natural state of something, pure potential, wholeness, simplicity before it is shaped, labeled, and defined by the world. When a sculptor looks at a block of jade, they see 1,000 possible statues within it. But the block itself is complete, valuable, and perfect in its untouched state. Your heartbreak, in a sense, has felt like a violent chiseling. It has shaped you into a form you did not choose, the lonely one, the betrayed, the one left behind. You have come to identify with this carved, painful statue. Buddhism invites us to close our eyes and feel not the intricate details of the carving, but the substance from which it is made. Beneath the sculpture of your grief, there is an uncarved block of awareness, of presence, of boundless capacity. It has never been broken. Let me share an original story. In a village known for its master carvers, there was a young apprentice named Leo. He was given a perfect, flawless block of rare cherry wood. His task was to carve a statue of Kuan Yin, the Bodhisattva of compassion. He worked with feverish devotion for months, capturing every delicate fold of the robe, every serene line of the face. On the day he was to apply the final finish, a shelf in his workshop collapsed. The nearly finished statue was struck, and the face, the most exquisite part of his work, was shattered beyond repair. Leo fell into a despair so deep he could not eat or sleep. He saw only the ruined face, the months of labor wasted. He ignored the block of wood entirely. An old, nearly blind master carver heard of his distress and visited. He did not look at the shattered face. Instead, he walked slowly around the remaining form. He ran his hands over the smooth curves of the robes, the graceful lines of the hands. He was silent for a long time. Then he said, "Leo, you have forgotten the first lesson. The lesson of the block. Bring me the original drawings." Confused, Leo did. The old master pointed a gnarled finger not at the detailed sketch of the face, but at the very first page, a simple, rough rectangle. "This," the master said, tapping the rectangle, "is what you were given. This," he gestured to the shattered statue, "is what you made. The block has not disappeared. It has only changed form. The compassion of Kuan Yin is not in the smile you carved. It is in the wood itself, in its warmth, its strength, its willingness to be shaped. You grieve for the smile. I ask you to feel for the wood. Your hands still know it. Your heart still knows it. Can you feel the block that remains?" Leo placed his hands on the damaged statue. He closed his eyes. He stopped seeing the project, the failure, the lost face. He felt only the smooth, solid, living wood beneath his palms. He felt its grain, its solidity, its latent potential. A profound calm washed over him. The block was still there. It was still whole. He could not recarve the same face, but from this same block, something new could emerge, perhaps a different expression of compassion, one that incorporated the scars. His grief shifted from being about the loss of a specific form to a reconnection with the essential material of his own spirit, which was undiminished. Your heart is that block of cherry wood. The relationship was a beautiful, intricate carving you were creating together. Now, the specific form has been damaged or taken away. It is natural and right to mourn that beautiful form. But the practice, the healing, lies in the return of your hands and your heart to the feel of the uncarved block, to the essential you that exists prior to and independent of any relationship. This you is not empty. It is full of pure potential, the potential for peace, for awareness, for kindness, for a quiet joy that does not depend on external forms. In Buddhism, this is sometimes called your Buddha nature, the inherent, luminous perfection that is your true essence, covered over by the carvings of conditioning and story. We must now practice letting go of the chisel. After a heartbreak, the mind becomes a frantic sculptor, trying to recarve the past, if only I had, or fearfully carving nightmare statues of the future, I'll always be alone. This mental chiseling is exhausting and keeps us trapped, feeling the sharp edges of our own anxious thoughts. The practice of meditation and mindfulness is the conscious setting down of the chisel. It is saying, for these few minutes, I will not try to sculpt anything. I will simply be the block. I will feel the weight of my being, the raw sensation of existence, without judging its shape. I will share a memory. In the depths of a personal winter, I was assigned to a 10-day silent meditation retreat. My mind was a torrent of painful carving, replaying conversations, sculpting arguments I never had, shaping a future of bleak loneliness. The instruction was infuriatingly simple: focus on the breath at the nostrils. Just the sensation of air moving in and out. I fought it. It felt useless, like ignoring a raging fire. But out of sheer exhaustion, I finally surrendered. I stopped trying to sculpt my experience into something acceptable. I became the block of my own breathing body. In and out. Cool, warm, touch, release. For fleeting moments, the stories would fall away. There was no heartbroken me. There was just breath, sound, sensation. In those gaps, I touched a piece that had nothing to do with my circumstances. It was the piece of the uncarved block, simple, whole, and undisturbed. It was not a solution to my pain, but a sanctuary within it. I learned I could return to this sanctuary whenever I remembered to set the chisel down. So tonight, let us practice being the block. Sit comfortably. Imagine your body and mind as a solid, simple block of warm, living wood. Feel its weight resting on the earth. Feel its inherent strength and stillness. Now, notice the thoughts and feelings that arise, the memories, the fears, the sadness. See them not as the truth of you, but as carvings on the surface of the block. They are shapes appearing and disappearing in the weather. Your task is not to fight the shapes, but to keep feeling the solid, uncarved substance beneath them. With each breath, sink deeper into the feeling of being the block, solid, present, complete in its potential. Whisper softly to yourself, I am not the carving. I am the wood. This is not a denial of your pain. It is a profound recontextualization of it. The pain is real, but it is happening to the uncarved block of your being, not as your being. The block can withstand the carving. It can even, in time, integrate the new shapes into its wholeness. Your essential nature, aware, peaceful, capable of love, remains untouched. You are not a broken statue. You are the whole block from which infinite new forms of compassion, wisdom, and connection can yet emerge. You are the uncarved block, forever whole beneath the changing carvings of experience. Let us settle into this moment like a deep root finding soil. In our last time together, we return to the uncarved block of our being, the essential, whole self beneath the stories. Tonight, we will explore a quality that emerges naturally from that solidity, steadfastness. We will envision the heart not as a fragile thing, but as a mountain. And the emotions of heartbreak? We will learn to see them as weather. A mountain does not confuse itself with the weather. A violent storm may rage on its slopes, shrouding its peak in thunderclouds, lashing its forests with rain and wind. Lightning may flash against its cliffs. The mountain experiences the storm fully, the rain saturates its soil, the wind scours its stones. Yet, the mountain knows itself to be fundamentally separate from the storm. It does not become the lightning. It does not believe it is the thunder. It stands, immense and silent, allowing the weather to pass over, through, and around it. In time, the storm exhausts itself. The clouds part. The sun returns, and the mountain is revealed, unchanged in its essential nature, perhaps even freshened, with streams now running where before there were none. Your heart in the midst of grief is experiencing a powerful, personal storm. The teachings of the Buddha guide us to cultivate upekkha, often translated as equanimity. This is not cold indifference. It is the mountain-like quality of a balanced heart. The ability to feel the full force of the emotional storm without being shattered by it, without believing, "I am this storm." It is the profound understanding that you are the space in which the weather of feeling occurs, not the weather itself. Let me tell you an original story. There was a famous hermit who lived in a hut high on a mountainside, a place known for its sudden, violent storms. Pilgrims would brave the climb to ask him one question: how do you find peace in such turmoil? He never answered directly. He would simply invite them to stay for a night. One evening, a particularly agitated young man arrived, his own heart in pieces from a betrayal. As dusk fell, a storm erupted exactly as the hermit had predicted. The wind screamed around the hut's eaves. Thunder shook the very stones. The young man was terrified, pacing, convinced the hut would be torn from the mountain. The hermit sat perfectly still by the hearth, his eyes closed, a faint smile on his lips. "How can you smile?" the young man shouted over the din. "Don't you fear the storm?" The hermit opened his eyes. "Come," he said. He led the young man to the door, opened it, and stepped just outside, under the shelter of the eaves. The storm's fury was immense. "Now," the hermit said, his voice calm in the chaos, "do you see the storm?" "Of course," the young man cried. "And do you see the mountain?" The young man looked down at the solid rock beneath his feet, felt the immovable mass of the land rising into the dark. "Yes. The storm," said the hermit, "is what is happening. The mountain is what we are standing on. You have been trying to stand on the storm. No wonder you are terrified. Tonight, practice standing on the mountain. Feel your feet on this rock. The storm is not you. It is just a passing condition." They went inside. The young man tried. With each thunderclap, he felt his fear rise, and then he deliberately pressed his feet into the floor, imagining the miles of solid stone beneath him. He began to notice something. The fear was like the thunder, a loud, temporary noise. The awareness that felt the fear was like the mountain, present, silent, and unmoved. He did not sleep, but by dawn, when the storm had passed and a pristine silence filled the world, he was a different man. He had not stopped the storm. He had discovered the mountain within himself. This is the practice for heartbreak. When a gale of sorrow tears through you, feel it. Do not resist. But in the midst of it, find your mountain. Your mountain is your body, grounded to the earth. Your mountain is your breath, a constant, rhythmic anchor. Your mountain is the silent, witnessing awareness behind the tumult. Place your attention there. Say to yourself, this is a storm of grief. I am the mountain that feels it. This simple act of mental repositioning is a revolution. It moves you from being a victim of the weather to being a conscious inhabitant of a durable landscape. Now, we must speak of the different types of weather. Heartbreak is not one emotion, it is a front of many systems. There is the cold rain of sadness, the sharp lightning of anger, the heavy fog of confusion, the howling wind of anxiety about the future. Buddhism encourages us to name them, to greet them even. This is the practice of clear recognition. When anger arises, note silently, anger, anger. When longing arises, longing, longing. By naming them, we do two things: we acknowledge their presence, and we create a tiny space between the feeling and the one who feels. We are the mountain saying, "Ah, lightning." Not the mountain crying, "I am lightning." This prevents the emotions from blending into one overwhelming, toxic mass called, "my horrible pain." We see them as individual, temporary weather patterns passing over our enduring form. I will share a personal practice from a difficult period. I was instructed to keep a weather journal for my heart. Not a diary of events, but a simple log of emotional weather. 3 times a day, I would pause and note: 10 a.m., heavy clouds of regret. Light drizzle of self-pity. 3 p.m., sudden squall of anger. Passed quickly. 9 p.m., clear sky of calm for 20 minutes during meditation. This objective, almost poetic logging changed everything. It externalized the weather. I was no longer drowning in it, I was a compassionate meteorologist observing it. I began to see patterns, that anger often followed a certain memory, that calm often arrived after a walk. Most importantly, I saw that no weather system lasted forever. The clear skies always returned, even if just for a moment. This is the mountain's wisdom. It has seen 10,000 storms, and it knows the nature of each one. To arise, to rage, and to pass. So tonight, as you feel the weather of your heart, I invite you to this mountain practice. Sit or stand firmly. Feel the solid connection of your body to the chair, the floor, the ground. Imagine roots of stability growing down from your feet, deep into the earth's core, connecting you to the unwavering mountain within. Now, bring to mind the current feeling. Name its weather. This is sadness. Feel it fully, but keep feeling your rooted feet. Say, sadness is here. The mountain is here. Do this with kindness, not resistance. You are not trying to stop the rain, you are remembering you are made of stone and soil, and you can be wet without dissolving. In the Buddha's teachings, this is the foundation for true fearlessness. It is not the absence of fear or pain, but the unshakable knowledge that you are larger than what you feel. The storm of heartbreak, while immense, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Your mountain-hearted nature does not. You are learning to abide in that nature, to stand firm while the seasons of emotion turn. You are not the passing storm. You are the ancient, patient ground upon which all weather unfolds. You are the mountain. The storm is just visiting. Let your breath be a gentle boat on a quiet stream, carrying you into this next moment of shared understanding. Thus far, we have explored the inner flame, the still water, the forest after fire, the uncarved block, and the steadfast mountain. Each is a way of knowing the enduring part of your nature. Tonight, we navigate a more relational geography, the river with two banks. When a deep relationship ends, it can feel as if the very river of your life has been torn from its bed, left to evaporate in a desert of absence. You may feel stranded on one bank, staring across a suddenly uncrossable divide at the empty space where the other person once stood. This image holds a powerful truth and a profound illusion. The truth is that a relationship is like a river flowing between two banks, two separate, whole individuals. The illusion, born from attachment, is that the river was the bank, or that one bank cannot exist without the other. Buddhism helps us see this clearly. Suffering arises when we confuse the flowing water of connection with the solid ground of our own being. Let me share an original story. There was a town divided by a wide, beautiful river. The people on the east bank were known for their pottery, those on the west bank for their wool. For generations, they relied on a single, graceful bridge for trade and communion. The bridge was the heart of their shared life, a place of meetings, laughter, and the exchange of essential goods. One year, a great flood swelled the river, and the ancient bridge was swept away. The people were devastated. On the east bank, potters wailed, "We will starve without their wool for winter." On the west bank, weavers cried, "Our children need their clay for medicine and bowls. We are lost." Both banks fell into a paralyzing grief, staring at the torrential gap where their connection once lived. An old gardener, who tended plots on both banks, observed their sorrow. He called the people together. "You are mourning the bridge," he said, "and so you have forgotten the banks. Look at your own feet. The east bank is still rich with clay. The west bank still has grassy fields for sheep. The bridge did not create the clay or the grass. It only allowed them to meet. Your wholeness was never in the bridge. It is in the land upon which you stand." He then gave two simple instructions. To the east bank, build a kiln and fire your most beautiful pots. Line them up on your shore. To the west bank, weave your warmest, finest blankets. Lay them out on your grass. They did as he said, focusing not on the absence, but on the cultivation of their own inherent gifts. Soon, the east bank gleamed with rows of exquisite pottery. The west bank became a tapestry of colorful wool. And then, a curious thing happened. Seeing the abundance on the opposite shore rekindled not despair, but ingenuity. They began to build simple rafts, then better boats. The river, once a barrier, became a pathway again, not the single, fixed path of the bridge, but a living, flowing connection that required their active participation. The new connection was different. It was more conscious, more adaptable. And each bank, having deepened its own unique strengths, had more to offer than ever before. Your heartbreak is the loss of that familiar bridge. The person you were with was one bank, you are the other. The love, the communication, the shared life was the flowing river between you. The bridge was the structure, the routines, the commitments, the assumed future. Now it is gone. The pain is real. But the gardener's wisdom is crucial. Do not confuse the loss of the bridge with the loss of your own bank. Your bank. Your own being, with its unique qualities of compassion, creativity, resilience, is still here, fully intact. In your grief, you may be staring only at the turbulent water where the bridge was, believing your own land is now worthless. The practice is to turn your gaze away from the gap and to look down at your own feet. What is your native clay? What is your inherent grass? What gifts of spirit, now unattached to that particular other person, can you cultivate on your own shore? This leads to the Buddhist principle of interbeing, a term made beautiful by Thich Nhat Hanh. While we are separate banks, we are also made of the same elements. The water of the river touches both, the rain feeds both, the same sun warms both. The end of a relationship does not negate the interbeing that was always there. You were shaped by that connection, and you shaped it in return. That shaping remains part of your geological makeup. You do not dishonor the past by turning to cultivate your own bank, you honor it by using the nutrients that relationship left in your soil to grow something strong and beautiful for your own life's ecosystem. I will share a personal memory. After a significant parting, I found myself in a state of existential poverty. I had defined so much of my joy, my security, even my daily purpose, by the bridge of that relationship. My own bank felt barren. My teacher assigned me a seemingly silly task, to grow a windowsill herb garden from seed. Tend to this piece of earth that is unquestionably yours, she said. The small act of watering, of watching for green shoots, of pinching leaves for my tea, became a sacred ritual. It was a tiny, tangible practice of caring for my own bank. As the basil and mint thrived, a parallel, inner cultivation began. I started writing again, a solitary joy I had neglected. I took long walks, re-establishing a relationship with the sky and the trees. I was not building a new bridge. I was rediscovering the fertility of my own land. And in doing so, the aching fixation on the gap across the river lessened. I was no longer a stranded victim, I was a gardener. This is the invitation for you. In the wake of heartbreak, ask, what small, concrete thing can I do to tend my own bank? It could be physical. Preparing a nourishing meal just for you, tidying your room, taking a walk. It could be creative, drawing, writing, making music with no audience in mind. It could be spiritual, a few minutes of silent sitting, reading poetry, offering a kind word to a stranger. Each of these acts is a declaration, I am here. This ground is mine. I will care for it. This is not selfish. It is the foundation of all healthy connection. A strong, well-tended bank has much to offer the river when the time comes for connection to flow again, in whatever form that may take. So tonight, let us do a brief practice of bank cultivation. Sit comfortably. Place both hands over your heart. Feel the solidity of your own chest, your own breath. This is your bank. Silently ask, what is one quality, inherent to me, that exists regardless of any relationship? Perhaps it is your curiosity, your sense of humor, your patience, your love of learning. Feel that quality as a resource within you, like rich soil or a fresh spring. Now, make a simple, kind promise to that quality. You might whisper, this week, I will water my curiosity by reading one chapter of a book, or, I will honor my love of beauty by buying myself a single flower. Make it small, tangible, and for you alone. This is how you rebuild your relationship with yourself, bank to bank, within the wholeness of your own being. Remember, the river of life is fed by many tributaries. The loss of one bridge does not stop the flow. By tending your own bank, you become a beautiful, stable shore. And from such a shore, new and meaningful connections, with others, with the world, and most importantly, with yourself, will naturally find their course. You are not a stranded bank. You are a whole landscape, awaiting your own devoted care. Let us settle into a shared quiet, like two listeners in a vast, gentle hall. Thus far, our journey has taken us through landscapes of fire, mountain, and river. We have sought the enduring within us, the flame, the block, the bank. Tonight, we turn our attention to a different faculty, one that becomes both a refuge and a tool in grief, the quality of deep listening. We will contemplate the silent bell. In a monastery, the bell is not merely an instrument to mark time. It is a vehicle for mindfulness. Before it is struck, there is a gathering of attention, a poised silence. The strike itself is clear, vibrant, encompassing. And then, the most important part, the resonance. The sound waves expand, filling the air, vibrating in the body of the listener, and then gradually fading back into silence. The true listening happens not only at the strike, but throughout the entire life cycle of the sound, from the anticipation, through the peak, into the long, tender fade. A heartbreak is such a bell strike. It is a sudden, shocking, resonant event. Our instinct is to cover our ears, to run from the sound, to label it as merely bad noise. But the practice of healing invites us to do the opposite, to become the perfect, receptive listener to the entire resonance of our pain, from its initial shock to its faintest, fading echo. Let me tell you an original story. In a temple known for its bell making, there was an apprentice tasked with learning the final, crucial step, listening. His master gave him a small, newly cast bell and a mallet. "Strike it once," the master said. The apprentice did. A clear, sweet tone rang out. "Good," said the master. "Now, do not strike it again until you can tell me the exact moment its sound becomes silence." The apprentice sat, listening intently. The note hung in the air, beautiful and pure. Then it began to fade. He listened as it grew thinner, softer, merging with the rustle of leaves outside. He strained his ears. Was that still the bell, or the wind? His mind jumped in, "It's gone. It's silent now." But he wasn't sure. He waited longer, his whole being poised in attention. Time stretched. He heard the distant cry of a bird, the beat of his own heart. And then, In a flash of perception, he felt it, not with his ears, but with his whole body. The precise, seamless transition where the last vibrational whisper of the bell dissolved into the ambient silence of the world. It was not an end, but a blending. He opened his eyes. The master was smiling. "You have heard the bell's true teaching," he said. "The strike is the event. The resonance is its life. The return to silence is its nature. Most people only hear the strike. A compassionate heart learns to listen to the resonance, all the way home. Your heartbreak is the strike. The grief, the memories, the physical ache, the questions, this is the resonance. We often fear that if we truly listen to this resonance, if we feel it fully, we will be consumed by it. We try to muffle it with distraction, deny it with false cheer, or drown it in anger. But these are like trying to stop a bell's vibration by clamping your hands on it. It only creates a painful, discordant rattle within. The Buddhist path of mindfulness encourages us to open our awareness like the spacious sky, allowing the resonance of the pain to vibrate through us without resistance. We listen to it with curiosity, not with fear. We note its changing qualities. Now it is a sharp pang. Now it is a heavy throb. Now it is a wave of emptiness. We listen until we can perceive the moments of softening, the spaces between the waves, the way the sharp sound of "I cannot bear this" gradually fades into the quieter hum of "this is here now." This practice of deep listening transforms the pain from an enemy to a messenger. Every note of the resonance carries information. The note of anger may be telling you about a violated boundary. The note of deep sadness may be pointing to the pure love that was present. The note of fear may be highlighting an attachment to a particular future. By listening without immediately reacting or judging, we receive these messages with wisdom instead of drama. We begin to understand the complex symphony of our own heart. I will share a personal anecdote. In a period of acute loneliness after a loss, I was instructed to practice listening meditation for just 5 minutes a day. I was to sit and simply listen to all the sounds around me. The distant traffic, the hum of the fridge, the sound of my own breath. The instruction was not to label them as pleasant or unpleasant, but just to receive them as vibrations in the air. At first, my inner pain was so loud it drowned everything out. But as I persisted, something shifted. The sound of a bird outside would arise, and for a split second, my attention would be there, fully. Then a wave of sorrow would arise, and I would hear it too, as if it were just another sound in the field of awareness, a powerful, inner sound. I began to notice that even the sorrow had a texture, a beginning, a peak, and a fade. It wasn't a solid wall, it was a passing, albeit intense, atmospheric condition. By listening to my grief as I listened to the bird, I stopped fighting it. I allowed it to be part of the soundscape of my life in that moment. This didn't erase the pain, but it removed the layer of struggle against the pain, which was an immense relief. I was no longer a victim of the bell strike, I was a compassionate witness to its resonance. Now, let us bring in another Buddhist concept, sunyata, often translated as emptiness or openness. It does not mean nothingness. It means that all things, including our painful feelings, are empty of a separate, permanent, independent existence. They arise dependent on causes and conditions, they exist interdependently, and they fade when the conditions change. The resonant grief is not a solid entity haunting you. It is a temporary pattern of energy in the open space of your awareness. Deep listening helps us experience this directly. We hear the grief arise, we feel its texture, and we witness it lose its intensity, change, and dissolve back into the silent, open ground of being. Each time we witness this complete cycle, we strengthen our trust in the impermanent, empty nature of all phenomena, even the most painful ones. We see that silence is always there, both before the strike and after the resonance. So tonight, let us practice being the silent bell, or more precisely, the listener who holds the whole cycle. Find a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, listening to the sound of your own inhale and exhale. Now, bring to mind the feeling of heartbreak, but instead of diving into its story, simply tune into its resonance in your body. Where do you feel it? Is it a tightness, a hollowness, an ache? Listen to it as if it were a sound. Don't try to change it. Just be the open space that allows this sound to be present. Now, expand your listening. Can you also hear the actual sounds in the room? The faint hum of electricity? The sound of your own breathing? Let the inner resonance and the outer sounds coexist in the same field of your awareness. They are all just vibrations, coming and going in the silence that you are. Practice this for a few minutes. If you get lost in the story of the pain, gently return to simply listening to its sensory signature, its sound. You are listening to the bell's resonance, all the way to its fade. Remember, you are both the bell that was struck and the vast, silent temple that contains the sound. The strike happened. The resonance is real. But the silence that holds it is your true, boundless nature. By learning to listen with this compassionate, spacious attention, you are not prolonging the pain, you are allowing it to complete its natural arc, to teach you what it must, and to return you, gently, to the peace that was never truly absent. You are the listening silence that can hold any sound. Welcome back, for this final gathering. Let your breath be soft, your body at ease. We have walked this path together, through landscapes of flame and mountain, river and bell. We have sat in ashes and learned to listen to resonance. Now, as we close, let us sit by the ocean and watch the tide. The ocean is a profound teacher in Buddhism. Vast, deep, and inherently calm in its depths, its surface displays constant change, waves rising and falling, tides advancing and retreating. A heartbreak is like being caught in a terrifying, personal tsunami. You are tossed, submerged, convinced the peaceful depths are lost forever. But the ocean's nature is not determined by a single storm, nor is yours by a single wave of grief. The practice of healing is the gradual remembrance that you are the ocean, not the wave. And like the ocean, you have within you the quiet, powerful force of the returning tide. No wave, no matter how colossal, remains at its peak. It gathers, it crests, and it must release. It subsides back into the greater body. Your sorrow is that wave. It feels all-consuming because you are focused on its towering, immediate wall. But the wisdom of the tide asks you to feel the pull beneath it, the deep, rhythmic certainty that this wave, too, will be gathered back. Healing is not the absence of waves. It is the growing trust in the tide, the knowledge that the painful intensity will soften, that the waters of your spirit will find their level again, and that they will continue to hold the capacity to reflect the sky, the moon, and the stars. Let me share one final, original story. On a rocky coast, there was a lighthouse keeper's daughter who loved a sailor. He promised to return with the spring tide. She would wait on the cliffs, watching his ship until it vanished over the horizon. One season, his ship did not return. A storm had taken it. Her grief was an ocean in itself. She stopped going to the cliff. She closed the shutters of her heart, believing her love had been swallowed by the same sea that had taken him. She lived in a perpetual, inner low tide, a barren, drained place. One evening, an old woman from the village, a seaweed gatherer, found her on the rocks, staring at the stagnant water in a tide pool. "This water is dead," the girl whispered. The old woman shook her head. She pointed a crooked finger far out to where the sea met the sky. "Wait," she said. They sat in silence as the sun set. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the stagnant water in the pool began to stir. A fresh, cool finger of seawater slipped over the rim. Then another. The dead pool began to brim with clear, moving water. Tiny shrimp darted where there had been none. The tide was returning. "You see," the old woman said gently, "you have been living in the isolated pool of your loss, thinking it was all the ocean. But the true ocean is still connected. It has never stopped moving. It has never forgotten you. Let the tide find its way back in. It knows how." The girl began to open her shutters, first to the sound of the waves, then to the salt air, then to the sight of other ships on the horizon. She did not forget her sailor. But she allowed the vast, living ocean of life to flow back into the isolated pool of her grief. She learned that love is not a finite thing kept in one pool, it is the nature of the water itself, boundless, circulating, and capable of filling new shores. This is the culmination of our journey. The Buddha's path leads us from the clenched fist of attachment to the open palm of understanding. It does not ask you to forget. It invites you to expand. To see your specific, personal loss as one wave in the vast ocean of your boundless heart. That heart's true nature is not broken, it is spacious, aware, and ultimately free. The love you felt has not vanished, it has changed state, like water to vapor, and will coalesce again as compassion, as kindness, first for yourself, and eventually, for all beings. So, as we part, carry this simple knowing, you are the ocean. The storm has passed. The tide is already returning. Feel its gentle, persistent pull in every moment you choose a kind thought over a bitter one, a conscious breath over a spiral of worry, a small act of self-care over neglect. This is the tide flowing back. You are healing. You are whole. Thank you for walking this path with Monk's Moon Temple. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be free. May you, like the ocean, know your own depth and your own constant, loving return.